The state of Missouri will be starting the final 2 phases of vaccine distribution sooner than anticipated. I'm Zach Dodge with why a few local health departments are excited about that. Coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh firefighters are trying to determine what caused a destructive apartment fire this morning. And you'll see how the community in Granby, Missouri is working to save a historic building. Meteorologist Nick Kelly has your weather. Sports director Jacob Leonard's on sports. I'm Mike Mahoney, and this is your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks as always for tuning in this evening. Missouri will be opening the final 2 phases of vaccine distribution sooner than originally thought. KOAM's Zach Dodge takes a look.
In less than a month, every adult in Missouri will be able to get a COVID-19 vaccine if they choose to.
I like the fact that we're opening up the phases.
We're excited about that.
Phase 2 in Missouri will open on March 29th, bringing eligibility to 880,000 more residents. Then on April 9th, Phase 3 opens, making every adult eligible for a vaccine.
I think that's a great thing because now from a provider perspective, we don't have to go through that screening process to try to figure out, are you eligible, are you not eligible?
Larry BERGNER at the Newton County Health Department says in a few weeks, the amount of vaccine they receive will be doubled, so they will have the vaccine supply and the arms to get them into.
We have had a few instances where we actually have trouble getting enough people to sign up to get the vaccine that's available. So by opening up all of the phases, I don't think we'll have to deal with that problem.
And in Barton County, Joel Dermott agrees that opening things up will make everything less confusing for everyone.
Especially here where we live and where we're next to other states, we border other states and their protocols may be a little different than ours. So that creates even more confusion.
But most importantly, both administrators say they could very possibly get to a point where herd immunity, what we've been working toward all along, could be just around the corner.
So if we can all work together to increase the number of vaccine doses we give each week, we can get to that herd immunity and then even beyond as quickly as possible. And I'm excited that we could actually do it by summertime.
In Barton and Newton counties, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
It is time for a look at your first weather. Nick Kelly, meteorologist. Nick.
Well, Mike Mahoney, it was certainly an interesting day. It started out cold this morning with the lows around 33, but a nice jump to 57 this afternoon. It was interesting, I say, because we're just finally calming down after we had severe weather and wintry weather with our last storm system all within the span of a day, but that system's long gone. We've enjoyed quiet skies all day. Quiet skies for the next few days before our next storm system out west decides to roll on in. In the meantime, we're about as quiet as could be with temperatures on the cool side. Most of us sitting in the mid-40s right now. It's going to be a cold night, though, as that breeze continues to die down and we continue with clear skies. I think overnight lows will drop back near 30, but we're looking good for our first day of spring tomorrow with highs back in the lower 60s. Again, quiet for the rest of the weekend, Mike, before it gets active again. We'll break down the forecast for the week ahead here in a bit.
All right, sounds like a plan, Nick. Thanks as always. Fire investigators are trying to determine the cause of a fire in downtown Pittsburgh today. The call came in around 7:30 this morning about a fire at the Smith Clinic Apartments at 9th and Broadway. Firefighters from Pittsburgh and Frontenac battled that fire for about 3 hours. Fortunately, nobody was injured. However, 3 residents were still in the building when firefighters arrived and told them to get out.
And then we come to the door and the firemen are yelling there. They're like, "You need to get out." We're like screaming, just running down the hallway, can't breathe for nothing. We get to the stairs and we're just choking on the smoke.
The fire department says the second floor of the building is heavily damaged. No word yet on what caused the fire. A local community is at risk of losing one of their most historic buildings. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky headed to Granby to see how the town is trying to save a building that's on the brink of collapse.
For the people of Granby, their historic hardware store was the hotspot for the town.
I would stop by on my way walking to the bank every day and just stop in, see if there was anything new, and there would always be people in there.
The store is a part of the town's rich history. It was built in 1906 and had everything the community would need.
I mean, it had everything here, everything from furniture to sporting goods to buggies.
But when the owner's wife, who loved the store, died, he closed the door on the shop. Steve Burnett, president of the Granby Miners Museum, says while it was closed, the building became seriously damaged.
The building, obviously, as you can see, developed a leak in the roof, and that leak then caused all the internal damage with the floor caving in.
Granby locals have been wanting to save the building for a while, so Jamie Arnold, a local business owner, finally stepped up and took on the project herself.
I just get tired of seeing everything falling down in our town, and I want to see it all lifted up and built up.
So, Arnold purchased the building.
I can just imagine it full of booths or people walking through shopping.
And now wants to use it to host different stores in order to boost tourism and the local economy.
So we're talking about 6 businesses could come to our community.
But she can't take on all of this alone and needs the help of the community to help finish the project.
So if people can donate money, there's going to be some opportunities later on to donate their time. The most important part right now is to stop the building's deterioration, and to do that, you need to get a roof on as soon as possible.
Burnett adds that Granby isn't the only town with historic spaces in need of help.
But I also challenge you to look at your small communities all around you, because there are buildings like this out there that need you as a community to step up and save them.
Saving these kinds of buildings just helps keep parts of these towns' histories alive. In Granby, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Better Business Bureau says scammers are using fake unemployment benefits websites to trick people into handing over their personal information. Officials say the fake sites look like government sites and try to lure people in by sending spam text messages and emails. The BBB says no government unemployment agency will reach out to people out of nowhere about applying for benefits.
We're looking for some signs of a scammer, right? So that would be pretty easy to do. In all of these cases and in other cases, you're being contacted first. We're not reaching out to the person. In all of these cases, the person is wanting something from you. So you are not just getting your unemployment benefits because you went ahead and applied as it's supposed to be. Instead, they're being proactive and they're contacting you because they're on top of it.
And BBB officials say if you do need to apply for unemployment benefits, you should go directly to your state's website or call your local unemployment office. It's now time for us to recognize one of our many 4-state heroes. Tonight, we honor Franklin Huffman of Galena, Kansas. Huffman served as a medic in the U.S. Army, and he was stationed in Germany. Thank you, sir, for your courage and your service. For more information on all our 4-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMNewsNow.com. We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Plus, we are taking a trip to Italy, where the active volcano Mount Etna is once again making her presence known. That's coming up right after weather.
A bit chilly to start this weekend now, but we enjoyed and deserved a quiet start to this weekend after we dealt with our last storm system that kind of got a little whiplash over. Still hard to believe that we got 2 waves of severe weather out of that last storm system. I followed that with some wintry weather and some quick snow Thursday morning. That system's long gone, and we enjoyed clear skies from start to finish, at least mostly clear skies from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Not to mention we improved in temperatures after we got this system out of here. It dropped us back into the mid-40s yesterday, mid-30s this morning, and back into the mid-50s, heading in the right direction as we kick off the first day of spring tomorrow. In fact, the rest of the weekend is looking mild, and not only that, we'll keep things quiet with partly to mostly sunny skies. Let's enjoy this quiet weekend, because if we stick with Doug's pattern, we're going back into an active stretch next week with thunderstorm chances and rain chances, certainly wanting to ramp back up as we go into early next week. In the meantime, though, quiet as can be outside. A little cool, sure. 46 in Joplin. Feels like 44 with just a light north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Around the rest of the metro, we are at 46 in Pittsburgh, Seneca, Galena, Oronogo, while we have 45 in Neosho, 43 in Granby, while Miami is sitting at 47. Everyone else is mainly in the mid-40s right now, but I don't think we're done dropping off just yet, because ever since we hit sunset, we noticed temperatures quickly drop back into the 40s already. And again, a good breeze today at about 5 to 15 miles per hour, mainly out of the northeast, but we're lightening up that breeze. But even though it's going to turn out of the southeast, that light breeze with the clear skies tonight always allows temperatures to drop off quite a bit. So we'll start cold before we see another nice day ahead of us tomorrow. Not much to show. Thankfully, on the surface map of the Skywatch Storm Tracker, we just have high pressure, even though it's over Michigan. That's what's keeping us quiet. I am watching our next cold front, though. That's the one that wants to roll in on Monday, but it's got a lot of real estate to cross before it works in here. So until we can get this low near Portland, Oregon, to send that front our way, we'll just enjoy a visit from this upper level ridge coming out of Denver. That's what will push us back into the 60s tomorrow. Before we can get there, though, we just got to endure a cold start to our Saturday morning. At least we can take solace in the fact that we'll just keep quiet for the rest of the night. Mostly clear skies from start to finish throughout the day tomorrow. Those conditions will drop us to 30 in the morning, but shoot us back to 53 by noon. Afternoon highs in Joplin should top out around 62. Everyone's fair game to go at least into the lower 60s for tomorrow, so definitely looking good for our first day of spring. And for Sunday, still under the ridge, so we'll keep things mild again with highs back in the mid-60s. Then here comes that next cold front and that next upper level low. That's going to gradually uptick our rain chances throughout the day. So it's going to get active again, and we'll hold on to some of those rain chances at least for a good portion of next week. Until we get those rain chances back in here, Mike, let's just enjoy this weekend. 62 and mostly sunny tomorrow, partly sunny Sunday, but hey, mid-60s, looking pretty good.
Yeah, my dog Peanut likes weather like that.
Sorry.
Hey, Nick.
I didn't realize that the camera's
Yeah,
back up again.
guys,
no,
tricking me right there.
No, we're smooth sailing for the weekend, Mike.
Anyways,
It's all
hey,
good.
check this out, Nick. Europe's largest active volcano, Mount Etna, puts on a dazzling show, erupting for the 15th time since mid-February. And the active volcano is showing no signs of slowing down. The eruption sent lava rocks flying into the air this morning with plumes of smoke covering the sky. Etna is a popular tourist destination for hikers worldwide and is the largest of Italy's 3 active volcanoes. Still to come, President Biden is feeling pressure to get kids back into the classroom, and the CDC could help him do that.
New CDC guidance could send children back to school soon. I'm Steve Harrigan in Atlanta. That story ahead.
President Biden is facing increased pressure to reopen most K-8 schools in the coming weeks. New physical distancing guidance from the CDC could help him achieve that goal. Fox News' Steve Harrigan has more.
More children could be headed back to the classroom. The CDC has relaxed physical distancing guidelines for children in school from 6 feet to 3 feet, as long as everyone is wearing a mask. 6-foot distancing should remain in place between adults and students and in common areas, such as auditoriums or lobbies. The CDC says the new recommendations will allow for safe in-person instruction.
In-person instruction gives our children access to the critical social and mental health services that prepare them for the future.
A study published last week in the journal Clinical Infectious Diseases suggested schools could safely reopen if children were 3 feet apart. The World Health Organization and the American Academy of Pediatrics also recommend 3 feet of social distance. The original 6 feet guidelines forced many schools to operate part-time or do hybrid learning to reduce class sizes.
Having kids out of school, we've seen just tremendous downsides. I think we saw that even very early in the pandemic when everything shut down in the spring. We were getting lots of reports of increased mental health visits, et cetera.
President Biden has made it a goal to open most K-8 schools by late April. The president and vice president got a briefing today at the CDC on the pandemic.
You've changed things. You've changed them in a way that are going to make everybody healthier in this country.
The Biden administration said it will spend $10 billion on increased testing in schools. In Atlanta, Steve Harrigan, Fox News.
Many frontline healthcare workers are not getting a COVID-19 vaccination. A new KFF Washington Post survey of healthcare workers nationwide found that as of early March, just over half of frontline healthcare workers reported they had received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. The polling also showed those who work in hospitals and outpatient clinics were more likely to be vaccinated than their counterparts in doctors' offices, nursing homes, and assisted care facilities. A study out of Northern Virginia shows children have a surprisingly high rate of COVID-19 antibodies. Inova Health System partnered with the Virginia Department of Health and George Mason University to look at the rate of COVID-19 in children last fall. Doctors say the rate of antibodies in the children studied was double that of adults. And what was most remarkable is that 66% of children with antibodies never had COVID-19 symptoms. Doctors say a common factor in the group of kids in the study is that they were around a family member or somebody else who had the coronavirus. When we return, we are checking in on the progress President Biden is making putting together his cabinet.
We're more than halfway through President Biden's first 100 days in office. So what does his team look like now? I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with a look at the president's cabinet and who still needs to be confirmed coming up.
More than halfway through the important first 100 days in office, President Biden is still trying to get his top team in place. But the Senate has been moving slowly, confirming his cabinet secretaries. Fox News' Lauren Blanchard shows us where President Biden's cabinet stands today.
Nearly 60 days into the Biden administration, and the Senate is slowly chugging through the president's picks to lead the nation's government. 20 of his 23 cabinet positions needing confirmation have been sworn into office. Some have had an easier path than others.
I, Catherine Tai. I, Catherine Tai. Do solemnly affirm.
The U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai was confirmed unanimously.
Congratulations, Madam Ambassador.
Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra's vote was split, only one Republican voting in favor.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 49. The nomination is confirmed.
Still left, the nominee for Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, Eric Lander. His nomination is still in committee. Labor Department Secretary nominee Boston Mayor Marty Walsh is awaiting a full Senate confirmation vote, which is scheduled for Monday.
It means the Biden administration will have the personnel in place to implement the American Rescue Plan, finish the fight against COVID-19, and bring our country roaring back.
So far, only one spot remains unannounced, the Director of the Office of Management and Budget. Neera Tanden was the president's original pick, but withdrew her name once it became clear she did not have enough Senate support needed because of her past tweets against Republicans. President Biden has not announced another nominee for the OMB. Former Presidents Trump and Obama's core cabinets were in place toward the end of their first 100 days in office. President Biden's will also likely be in place shortly before that. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
When we return, we are updating you on the investigation of the recent Atlanta massage parlor shootings.
President Biden turns his focus to hate crimes on Friday after an attack that left 8 people dead. I'm David Lee Miller in New York. The details coming up.
Welcome back to your News at 9. President Biden visited Atlanta today, meeting with Asian American community leaders 3 days after a series of shootings at Asian-run massage parlors killed 8 people. Fox News' David Lee Miller has the latest.
Rise for a moment of silence.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill observing a moment of silence on Friday, 3 days after the worst mass shooting in the U.S. since 2019. 8 people, mostly Asian women, were killed in a series of shootings at massage parlors in the Atlanta area. Community leaders say it's the latest incident in a growing trend of hate crimes against Asian Americans. A study shows the number of racial incidents targeting Asians rose 150% in big cities over the past year. And now, Georgia officials are facing increased pressure to label the shootings a hate crime.
There's no hate crime there? You gotta be kidding! And then for the sheriff's department office to say the killer had a bad day?
Investigators say there's evidence the alleged shooter was suffering from sexual addiction and wanted to eliminate what he saw as a temptation. And they say surveillance footage confirms he was a customer of at least 2 of the 3 parlors he targeted.
Our investigation is looking at everything, so nothing is off the table for our investigation.
President Biden arriving in Atlanta on Friday. He'll meet with Asian American community leaders who have been calling for more help from law enforcement, including the feds.
It has been traumatizing to not feel safe, to be able to go outside, to be in public.
The president is calling on Congress to pass a COVID hate crimes bill, citing what he calls an ongoing crisis of anti-Asian violence. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Protesters gathered in Atlanta Thursday demanding an end to racism and anti-Asian sentiments, especially within police departments. The group also says a member of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office in Georgia should step down following remarks he made about the accused shooter when he said the suspect was having, quote, a bad day when he went out on his shooting spree that killed 8 people, most of whom were Asian women.
I can't believe that he would say something like that. We find that extremely disturbing and disgusting. It just speaks to the racist character of the police departments across the country. And of course, we are calling for an end to the U.S. government's aggression towards China.
The Atlanta Police Department says they have not ruled out the possibility of a hate crime against suspect Robin Aaron Long. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly and your KOAM Sports Report with Sports Director Jacob Leonard. That's all coming up right here in your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
FEMA is giving nonprofits who shelter migrants financial assistance. I'm Ray Bogan with more on the immigrant surge on the southern border coming up.
The Biden administration is under scrutiny amid a border migrant surge, but House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said today that the administration has it all under control. Fox News' Ray Bogan has that story.
The surge of immigrants coming across the border continues, and the Biden administration is still trying to get a handle on the sheer numbers.
The message continues to be, now is not the time to come. The vast majority of families, of individuals, are sent back.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling for an investigation into who is helping these migrants get across the border.
It empowers and it enriches the drug cartels who are involved in every single person coming across the border, including these young children. These young children coming across the border are victims of human trafficking.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expressed confidence in the Biden administration's actions and says the current increase is part of the yearly spring surge when the weather improves.
I think that the administration is pulling this thing under control.
But this migrant believes more will come during the Biden administration.
It's not going to stop, ever. It's not going to stop.
To assist with the response, FEMA is giving nonprofits who feed and shelter migrants $110 million. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
An assistant district attorney in Pennsylvania has been demoted over a DoorDash side job. Officials say first assistant district attorney Greg Shore was delivering food for DoorDash during work hours with the Bucks County District Attorney's Office. Shore was demoted to deputy district attorney as of March 17th. Shore has served the public for more than 2 decades, starting with the Bucks County District Attorney's Office in 1996 until 2000 and then returning in 2015. No word on how long he has served with DoorDash. The IRS has issued more than 42 million tax refunds in the first 4 weeks of filing season. According to new data from the agency, the average tax refund is $2,967, down slightly from last year's tax season. The IRS recently revealed it will delay the tax filing deadline 1 month to May 17th. That's because of a number of factors that are making it difficult for folks to meet the April deadline, including distribution of a third round of stimulus payments. The filing deadline was also pushed back by several months in 2020 because of the coronavirus pandemic. We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Stay tuned.
About time we enjoy some quiet weather after our last storm system brought us severe weather and wintry weather, all within a span of 24 hours. Thankfully, though, none of the sort for today. We just pretty much put up with, if you want to put it like that, mostly sunny skies from start to finish. Great looking time lapse throughout the day from Indigo Sky and all across the area, even outside of the casino grounds in Seneca, Missouri. 46 in Joplin now with mostly clear skies up top. Feels like 44 though with a light north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Everyone turned quite cool ever since we got past sunset about 2 hours ago. Most of us are sitting in the mid-40s, maybe a stray 50-degree reading, especially around Chanute. But in general, we're not done dropping the thermometer just yet. We are certainly chillier today with the northeast breeze at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Even though we're starting to see that breeze switch more out of the southeast and will do so overnight, that breeze lightened up, and anytime we can get clear skies with dry air and a light breeze, temperatures will drop quite a bit before we see the sun rise once again by tomorrow morning. This time around, it'll drop us back near 30 before we thankfully go back in the right direction tomorrow. Thankfully, I have nothing to show you immediately on the surface map in the Skywatch Storm Tracker, just high pressure over Michigan, keeping that easterly breeze in place overall. Our next cold front that I'm watching, sitting out across the western U.S. Thankfully, though, it still has plenty of time before it gets here. So until we can get this upper low near Portland to bring that next front our way, look at the upper ridge out across the southern Rockies. That's going to slide on top of us for much of this weekend, and thankfully that's what will get us back into the 60s for highs. Before we can finally see numbers like that return, even though we're quiet for tonight and mostly clear, look at how cold it gets as we kick off the first day of spring tomorrow. Cold start with overnight lows dropping back near 30, but the same conditions at least are a cold start. The clear skies, the light southeast breeze, and the dry air in place means we'll waste no time warming up tomorrow. 53 by lunchtime, 62 around Joplin for the afternoon high. In fact, everybody will at least climb back into the lower 60s as we thankfully enjoy another mostly sunny day ahead of us. We'll do it again for your Sunday as long as we're still underneath that upper level ridge, even with some partly sunny skies in place. We'll enjoy highs in the mid-60s. Then that next storm system wants to ramp up our rain and thunderstorm chances as it rolls in on Monday. This will move along, but look at the parade of upper-level lows just coming our way from west to east. This is going to be another kind of active setup. Fortunately, as we roll into 7-day forecast, any of these rain chances I'm seeing on the board Monday through next Friday doesn't scream like a severe setup, but still, I'll watch our thunderstorm chances for Monday and as we head toward next Friday. But the next few days, we're looking great. 62, mostly sunny tomorrow. 64 on your Sunday with partly sunny skies. And again, Mike, we'll see our rain chances start to ramp up once again as soon as we hit Monday.
All right. Thanks again, Nick Kelly. And hey, Nick, stay tuned for sports. Two shots. What's going on? Come on.
The Mount Vernon girls are still alive for a basketball state championship. The Mountaineers are on the floor tonight against Vashon in the Class 4 state semifinals. The winner of this one plays for a state title tomorrow afternoon. And Mount Vernon on fire early. Ellie Johnston fade away for 2 of her 16 first half points. Mount Vernon up 7 at half. And on the second frame, Vashon cuts it to 2 before Mount Vernon answers. Lacey Stokes, a little step back, part of a 7-0 Lady Mountaineer run. Then Stokes again. Lacey Stokes, game-high 39 points for the future Missouri Southern Lion. Mount Vernon wins at 78-55. They'll face Boonville in the state title game tomorrow night. The Missouri Southern Lions are 13-2 to start the baseball season and have made it all the way up to number 3 in the national rankings. Now the Lions aim to stay hot this afternoon, kicking off a 3-game series at home against Central Oklahoma. Missouri Southern enters the day a perfect 6-0 on their home field. Top of the first, this one gets away. UCO scores the first run of the ball game. Skipping ahead, bottom of the third, it's 1-1. Henry Kuziak singles to right. Joe Kinder comes home. Lions have their first lead at 2-1. At top of the fourth, Zach Parrish catches Zach Freeman swinging. Parrish gets 11 strikeouts today. Bottom of the seventh, Tommy Stevenson to the left side. He gets the RBI, brings Jordan Fitzpatrick home. Then back to Henry Kuziak. He goes 3 for 4. Lions stay perfect at home. They win this one 5-2.
You know, it just feels good to win the game, to win the game we're playing, and we're going to try to do the same tomorrow. So, UCO is a really good team, so we definitely have our hands full. I mean, it's nice to be recognized, but really once the game starts, that really doesn't help you win, but, it's a credit to our players and all the work they put in.
Crowder College softball is also moving its way up the national rankings. At 22-1, the Lady Riders are ranked 17 in this week's national poll. Crowder has a doubleheader at home today facing Missouri Valley College. Sydney Ward getting the start in the circle for Crowder. Quick first half inning. There's the third out there. Bottom half now. First at bat for Jerika Alvarez. She knocks it through the gap. It's good for an RBI double. Alvarez back for more in the second inning. This one going down the right side. Shelby Chavers walks in. Then Skylar Randall sends this one back up the middle. Lady Riders bring in another run. Later, we're still in the same inning. Gracie Farrell gets a hit, brings in 2 more. Crowder finishes this one off in just 5 innings. Final score 8-0. Game 2, Lady Riders trying for the sweep, and they get it done big, 16-1. Crowder now 24-1 overall this season. Columbus High School opens up the softball season today at home against Parsons. The Titans go right to work in the first. Caitlin Lopp sends it back up the middle. Scores Aubrey Saporito and Jalen Rodriguez. It's the first 2 runs of the game. More from Columbus in the first. Addie Saporito laser to center. Brings home 2 more. Titans would actually go on to get 6 in the first inning. Now, Aubrey Saporito really good in the circle today. Actually throws a perfect game in 4 innings, racked up 10 strikeouts on the afternoon. Columbus didn't have problems giving her run support. And Grace Major really thought she put this one out. Major drives in 4 today. Columbus rolls in their opener 20-0. Today is the first full day of action in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. In the South region, the Arkansas Razorbacks are the number 3 seed. They open up against 14th seeded Colgate this afternoon. And not a good start. Jack Ferguson knocks down the 3 for Colgate, then does it again. Colgate comes out firing, going up 33-19. But Arkansas does eventually wake up. Justin Smith gets up for the jam. Hogs go on a 17-0 run, take a 1-point lead at halftime. Razorbacks avoid the Sports Center A block tonight. They get by Colgate 85-68. In the Midwest region, Oklahoma State on the floor against Liberty tonight. Oklahoma State wins and moves on 69-60. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Welcome back. A new kind of tool is helping law enforcement respond to tense situations. Fox News' Evan Peterson gets a first-hand look at a Wisconsin Police Department's virtual reality simulator.
He went that way, he took our baby just a few seconds ago. Please, you gotta help me. You gotta do something. He's got our baby.
Okay.
He's got our baby.
6002 dispatch.
A Racine police officer is responding to a domestic dispute involving a baby.
What's happening today, sir? What's going on with you and the baby here? I'm here to help you. What's going on?
As he tries to de-escalate the situation, the tension suddenly amps up.
That's just my partner coming. Don't worry about him.
But with a firm tone and appeasing words, the officer is able to resolve the issue.
Put the baby down nice and easy, and then we can talk about it. No, I know you don't. I know you love your baby.
A very real moment of relief from what is only a simulation.
This is a Virtua 3-screen reality simulator. We can take so many of the different things that you have to encounter in law enforcement and put it in a training scenario and teach them and help them learn.
Unveiled by the Racine Police Department Thursday morning, each scenario is controlled and altered by the instructor in real time, making it diverse and challenging for all of the department's 180 officers who will train with it.
This is for the community. We're doing this to make our community safer by getting our officers to be able to respond here in a stressful situation, but it's safe. It's a training environment.
Getting it right here can save lives out there.
Check out this dramatic body cam footage out of Utah on Thursday. It shows police officers pulling a hit-and-run suspect out of a burning car moments after it plummeted nearly 25 feet off a bridge. 2 officers arrived at the scene immediately and ran to the burning car to help the driver inside. Other officers arrived to help, and together they pulled the man out of a passenger side window. Police say the driver suffered a broken leg and other injuries, but is now recovering. He's also facing several charges, including felony evading and driving under the influence. Moments before the crash, police say he was fleeing an accident scene, and police only got to him in time thanks to another driver who had called 911. We're not done yet here in your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, you'll learn why bald eagle fans, especially the ones keeping an eye on this nest in the Golden State, are getting excited. That story and more are next. There's an 8-year-old Minnesota boy who has donated his check from Make-A-Wish to help pay for a playground for children with disabilities. And he's following in the footsteps of another boy who did the same thing 2 years ago. Fox News' Maury Glover has the story.
I like swinging on the swings, racing my brother sometimes here down the slide.
When it's warm out, Vinny Scarro visits the playground at the park near his house every other day. But he knows it's not fun and games for all kids with special needs like him to play on the equipment.
I just really want to help other kids have a fun place to play with wheelchairs.
Vinny has a rare genetic disorder that causes nightly seizures. He uses a wheelchair when he gets tired, and his condition can be terminal in some cases. Make-A-Wish offered to send Vinny and his family to Disney World last year, but the trip was postponed until next year because of COVID. So Vinny decided to donate the money to the city of Waconia to help build an inclusive playground at Waterford Park instead.
And he goes, "Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to donate to the wheelchair park." And he got off my bed and walked away. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing.
I was donating my Make-A-Wish to help a park.
On Monday night, Vinny spoke to the Waconia City Council and presented a check for $5,000 to the mayor.
I said I want to help the inclusive park because I feel like it's the right thing to do. I was saying in my head, this is totally weird, but I love it.
And he's not stopping there. Vinny is also hosting a hot chocolate stand at the park on Saturday afternoon to help raise another $22,000 to buy a merry-go-round that's wheelchair accessible for the playground. Because for him, having a big heart and helping others is child's play.
Because I like to help lots of people, and I just don't want to help myself all the time.
On a bald eagle nest in California. Chirping was finally heard from the nest this week. A camera set up by the Friends of Big Bear Valley captured the sounds of a baby bald eagle on Thursday. You can't see the eaglet on camera yet, but you can hear the tiny bird chirping from inside one of the two eggshells. That's a good sign that a hatching could happen at any moment. Over in Italy, the owners of a chicken coop are in a flap after an army tank accidentally fired a cannonball into the coop. A large number of chickens were killed, making this a case of murder most foul. I apologize. Reports say the mishap occurred during a military exercise on Wednesday. Local police have impounded the tanks while they investigate the matter. All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in this Friday night. We'll leave you with a video of penguins at the Maryland Zoo checking out their habitat. Be sure to join me this weekend for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Have a great night, and as always, stay safe out there.